course, lots of memories, more than I could name, and lots of people, more than I could name. So I came here because I was working in a program that had nothing to do with the church, but the church let the Board of Education use their building for that. I had finished with what I originally came to Louisville for and needed a job, and so I had been teaching English as a second language in the night program with adult education, which was just very part-time. In other words, couldn't support myself on that. But then my boss told me about a new grant that the Board of Education was getting. It was going to start in November, so I'm coming up on an anniversary of 76. And they didn't have a place to have this program that belonged to the Board of Ed, but they had made some kind of agreement with Butyl Park. Was it paid or not paid? I don't know that part. But anyway, Butyl Park had agreed for the board to use part of the facility here for these classes. And the classes were held in what we now know as the Youth Suite and Forever Young Fitness area, but then it was a Sunday school department. And so we had the bigger classes in the bigger room, and then the smaller classrooms that were off of that room, which no longer exist, were the couple of them were offices and others were like breakout classrooms. And so, being in the building, I met Doris, who was the secretary. We didn't have office managers then, so the secretary was kind of that role. And Larry Du Bois, who was the pastor, and Tim Townsend, who was another pastor. And it seemed like a good place, so I started coming to church here. And then spiritually, I went wandering, so I drifted away. That part I'm not proud of, but that's kind of one of my words of encouragement was, if you feel yourself drifting away, don't do what I did and feel guilty and stay away because of that. Come anyway, because wandering away is not where you lost yourself. It's not where you're going to find yourself. Two different times in Butyl Park's history, there was a group of women who called themselves Women at the Park. I got to be a part of the second one. So that was important to me. It helped me get to know several people in ways that I would not know them now. And we did a lot of Bible study together and had a prayer group and pretty cool stuff. The year that the folks from UJDA came here to visit, about the year that they came to visit, I was more involved, and we took pictures of all the Sunday school classes and a lot of things, and that helped me get to know a lot of people too. They meant a lot to me. To make a sort of album for the UJDA folks, to give them an idea of the variety of classes and activities and things we had going on here. So Sunday school classes and activities that branched off from that, birthday celebrations and Thanksgiving dinners and things that were either activities of the church or activities of the class, and so many good people. Just hard to. I mean, I couldn't possibly name all of them. The Tharps, the Vogels, the Du Bois, the Townsends, Judy, the organist, and Faye, the pianist at that time, and they were a pair. Miss Dawson and George. George reminds me that there was a special needs Sunday school class, which not every church had or has, and that was a really cool thing. And a couple of people who are still here taught in that. Miss Dawson was amazing. I don't know if anyone's birthday or special event like that went by in the whole church. I'm not talking about in one little shepherd group or something, in the whole church, that she didn't send them a card. She was totally amazing. Her sister, Miss Phillips, was the librarian for a long time, and we had a very active library for many years, and I can't imagine all the time and effort she must have put into that. Edgar Grove was another one. He had this amazing greenhouse and grew these amazing roses and other flowers, and gave them to the church to decorate the communion table, and brought rose buds or such for all the pastors, like a boutonniere for them every Sunday, and he did a lot of other stuff too, that just very quietly, that nobody knew he did. Lots of people lived good long lives and gave in their way to the church, to the community, to God, for so many years. My point is, all these people were such amazing examples, not just of good human beings, but of giving in their ways. Remembering all these different people reminded me of the many different ways in which they contributed, and the terrible thing that I fall into sometimes of comparing myself to other people and saying, well, I can't do that, so what could I possibly do? You know, that kind of thought pattern. If you want to play that game of comparison, there are so many people here, so talented, multi-talented, that you could drive yourself into the ground making comparisons. You can turn that to a positive angle too, because you realize everybody has something they can do, whether it's little stuff or big stuff, or whether it's like anybody else's stuff or not. So sometimes it just takes looking in the right places and figuring out what you can do that either somebody else can't do or doesn't want to do, that you either like to do or don't mind to do. So the ways have changed in the details, but it's still about, there's still a lot about using our building the best ways we can find to use, even if it's letting other people use it. For the ways that you minister will be different, but I'm sure there will still be needs, and you will keep finding ways to minister.